Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the.
Not quite yet. Hold on, Gail.
See, I always jump the gun.
You do. Wait until you see the screen change. It's okay. Everybody does it to me. There you are.
That's a subtle change. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 12th board meeting for the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees. Nice to see the faces on the Zoom call. I'm going to ask Gail Whitney to do a roll call so we can see who's participating in the meeting this evening. Go ahead, Gail.
Thank you. Anna Eddy.
Here.
Laurel Goodgen.
She's on mute.
Yeah, Laurel, go ahead and press your space bar and you'll come off mute.
Here.
Judy Ogelski.
She's going to be absent. We just heard that she's not going to be here.
Okay. Lisa Jones.
Here.
Pauline Kruk.
Here.
Iris Larson.
Iris, go ahead and hit the mute key. She's here.
Okay. Beth Livingston.
She's not here. She actually resigned from the board, so she's not
Oh,
here.
okay. Okay. Maureen.
Here.
Leanne Mankey.
Here.
Pam resigned, right?
Yep.
We get Pam off of there. Neil Ryan. Is Neil there?
Not yet.
I don't see his face nor his name yet.
Christine Shoshan.
Here.
Lisa Maston.
She's absent tonight.
Lisa's absent. Okay. Karen Benner.
Yes.
Here.
Dave Nagel.
Here.
Chris Miner. Is Chris there?
No, I don't see him anywhere.
Okay.
Neil
And
just
from the
popped
friend,
in.
Neil
Yes.
just popped in. Okay. And from the friend, Sheila. Is that the only one there?
Yeah.
Sheila. Okay. Got everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and I'm sorry, and you did get Neil in?
Yes, I did. Thanks.
He joined just a
Hello.
bit. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Diane, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
10. I counted 10. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10.
Are you also counting a town or a town employee?
I got
Okay.
Anna, Laurel, Lisa, Pauline, Iris, Maureen, Leanne, Neil, Diane, and Christine.
Yep.
That's 10.
Great. I like your math better.
Confirm, that's 10.
Great. Thank you. So from the roll call, we will move on to public participation. James, has anyone signed on from the public?
No public in attendance this evening so far.
Okay, then we'll move on to town council liaison. Dave, if you would.
Sure. Just very briefly, the thing that's most important at the moment for the council is working on finalizing the budget. At this point, the town budget that was presented by the town manager is the one that the board accepted. Rather, the council accepted to start with. There have been 2 public hearings. Tomorrow, there is a town council meeting and councilors can make changes to it from both sides of the aisle. If there are no changes, the mill rate would be reduced by 0.18. I don't foresee officially and unofficially any changes that would affect the library or its projects. And that's it briefly, unless you have other questions.
Thanks, Dave. I don't have any questions. Anybody on the board have questions for Dave at this point?
I should mention
Okay.
also that the council, if I didn't make it clear, that the 20th, we officially set the budget amount and changes can be made at that time if so deemed. If I didn't include that, it's important for you to know.
Thank you. We have that now. Okay, and next up is Iris for the Secretary's report. You'll have to unmute, Iris. Iris, you're still on mute. There you go.
Sorry. I have nothing to report.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on, I will ask for a review and approval of minutes. Does anyone have any changes or corrections to the minutes?
This is Maureen. I make a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Anna. I'll second it.
Excellent, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And we will move on to the review of the annual activities calendar. We will have some 5K race information to talk about later in the evening. Normally we talk about a volunteer appreciation breakfast, and while we are no less appreciative of all the work that's gone on in the support of the library, we are still not gathering, so we'll table that for a later date. National Library Week is coming up in April, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. And I know friends have done some creative things trying to get some book sales going, even though they're not in the same shape or form that we're usually in. So we'll be looking at all of that for our April agenda as we go through.
Diane,
Yes.
just for record, Counselor Minor has joined us.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I see you, Chris. Yep. Okay.
Sorry,
And
wait.
moving on from the activities report, we'll go on to the treasurer's report with Leanne Mankey.
I sent out the report later, last part of last week. There hasn't been a whole lot of activity, just the regular, subscriptions and things like that. There was some small adult programming costs. We did receive several donations, including several in memory of Marie Dowling. So the Memorial Fund was beefed up a bit, which is always, it's nice to receive the funds. Sorry for the reason. We also had part of the miscellaneous donations was another one of those Network for Good checks. So, whatever that is, it's between the Amazon Smile and that there's a small amount, but pretty regular income coming in. Regarding our money market, again, Dean is still looking to see what's happening. The market is not, he's kind of waiting to see what's happening with the bonds market and things like that to see where we go with something like that. So it's that's minimal interest, and the money market is unchanged other than interest because we didn't have any restricted expenses last month. The breakdown of the restricted and unrestricted funds is on the second page, and everything is current at this point. I will. I have heard that we've got a couple of things potentially coming down the pike. There is, I don't have all the details yet, but I have heard that there may be a bequest coming from someone who's been a benefactor in the past of the library, but I don't have all the details on that, so I will share with you as soon as I know. I don't size or anything. I know nothing. I just know that Dr. Polino, who had established the book fund, I guess he's passed, and we are in the will.
Oh,
So, but I don't know the details of it. Lisa doesn't know the details. We just had the tentative outreach so far from the lawyers. So, other than that, treasurer's report. That's all I've got.
Great, thank you, Leanne. Does anyone have questions for Leanne? No? Good job. All right, then we will move on to the library director's report, and I believe Karen will be giving that report this evening.
Yes, I'm going to give
might be combining it
report for both of us.
Great.
So staff is continuing to work hard to offer the best service possible, especially given that our building is still closed to the public. We are just pushing our turnaround time with the Lucy to Go service. We initially started with a 2-hour turnaround time, and now we're offering 1 hour or less, depending, you know, if we can do it in less than an hour, we do. So, you know, we're just really trying to bend over backwards to meet the needs of the community. You know, sometimes we have people come to the side door or the front door, and, you know, we're not turning anybody away for any reason. So that's kind of our goal right now. We finished the preparations for the History of the Library Story Walk. That's going to be displayed in Mill Pond Park as part of the town of Newington's 150th anniversary committee. That's happening on the 24th of April. The friends are going to be on the front steps of the library the day of the event. They're going to answer some questions about the history of the library. And they're going to be handing out snacks that originated in 1939, the year the library opened. Lisa, I think we might have mentioned this, but Lisa collaborated with other town department heads to create a newsletter. The community newsletter was geared towards older adults, focusing on keeping safe, healthy, and connected during the pandemic. The newsletter was titled Living Strong. Be safe, be active, be connected. And it was sent out to more than 6,500 residents in town. She also was a guest on the Talk to the Mayor show, again, along with other town department heads. It's a great way to keep the public informed about what the town departments are doing. So she's probably going to continue to do that. We're working on programming for the upcoming newsletter, and we are collaborating again with other area libraries. In March and April, we offered a joint genealogy series. May and June, we're going to offer a gardening series. So I just firmed that up with Berlin and Wethersfield and Rocky Hill. And this is really great for all of us because first of all, it cuts down on costs. It's a nice collaboration. And we really beef up our attendance because, you know, all 4 libraries are getting the word out. So it's really a nice collaboration, and I think all the directors are on board with continuing to do that, you know, even once things reopen more. Diane, you had mentioned National Library Week, which was April 4th through the 10th. The Children's Department specifically offered 2 new services during the month. There was something called the Book Bundles, and it was a service that asked parents to fill out online forms about special interests that their children may have. And the children's staff then would pick out 10 related items to check out. That has been popular. And the next one was a social media thing that was kind of cool. It was called Pop-Up Picks. And each week, a selection of children's books and like little prizes would just pop up on the library's Facebook page. And if people were interested, they actually had to be pretty fast and call the children's department to reserve their books and prizes. You never knew when it was going to pop up during the week, and the parents and the kids really seemed to think that was fun. So we're going to continue that. It's a great way to get more books in the hands of kids. Let's see, in technology news, we added a new online database called Newsbank. The service provides archives of local and national newspapers in the United States. It includes access to the Herald, the Bristol Press, the Journal Enquirer, New Haven Register. So check it out when you have a chance. I think we might have mentioned this at the last meeting, but Diane Durrett, our head of reference, is retiring at the beginning of May. She's been with the library for 40 plus years. She has been an exemplary reference librarian, somebody who's always provided just excellent customer service. We're really gonna miss her. We're lucky enough that she's actually gonna stay on as a reference substitute, so she's gonna work limited hours. And her position, I just determined today, is going to be filled by Jen Hebert, who, as you know,
Oh,
is our
no.
new business manager. Yes.
Oh.
So it's a great opportunity for Jen. Lisa and I are really happy for her. The business manager position will be it's going to be posted probably sometime next week internally. It goes out to AFSCME employees first. And then most likely we will, if we don't get a bid from an AFSCME employee, we probably will open it to internal part-time people. So it's going to be a little bit of a training, more of a training experience. Diane will work with Jen, and then Jen will have to work with whoever is going to fill her shoes. And then finally, the first of the 5 new hires that we talked about the last meeting began her training last week, and she started flying solo this week by herself. She's doing a great job. So each week we have a new individual training, and 4 of them are in the circulation department. So our circulation supervisor has been pretty busy. And then we'll have 2 more starting as subs in the children's department. And that is it for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Karen. Wow, that's amazing. It's
Yeah.
moving from one place to the other, but I think she'll be good in that position as well. So hopefully you find a replacement and get them trained quickly. At least you had Jen to help through the budget period.
There you go.
as that goes through. Does anyone have questions for Karen? Comments? No? Again, I'm amazed at how much gets done at the library. I love the fact that you're beating your times on the Lucy to Go. That's great news. And I guess with all the training going on there, it really is learning for all ages as you go through with the library. So thank you for your efforts. And is staff doing something for Diane?
Yeah, we are. We're having a small breakfast. She's pretty private, so we just asked her what she'd like, and that's what we're doing. So
She wanted something small.
Yeah, and we've coordinated with Keith and Heather, you know, with their usual town retirement gift. It's actually kind of nice now. They're giving retirees a couple of different options for gifts and stuff. So it's really nice.
And she had 40 years?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And I think the board in the past has recognized, we don't always recognize every retirement of staff, but somebody of that tenure, there's usually a token gift from the board for their service. Open that up for discussion. Go ahead, Leanne.
How about an Afghan?
I think
Would
that
she
would be
enjoy that?
wonderful. I really think she would.
I mean, I know it says Newington Education Foundation, but we're supposed to be getting the rights for it someday when this is over and the lawyers start meeting again. But I mean, it does have the library on it and all the other Newington iconic places.
I think she would really enjoy that, Leanne.
Well, as I said, we have them, and certainly I'd rather see them being used than sit gathering dust.
Mm-hmm.
Anna.
And I think, yes, go ahead, Anna.
So we have the Afghan, and I think other times we've set aside an amount of maybe close to $100 for something like this. So I'm thinking, and I know that we have some gift cards that are sitting locked up somewhere.
We do.
Wooden tap, so maybe a combination.
That would be great.
But do we need
I
to
think
vote on it?
Yes, we would need to vote on it. I believe that we had
They were
gift cards in
$50
increments with the wooden tap. So would we do one of those on the Afghan?
Personally, I
Sounds
think
like a
that
good
would be
idea.
nice.
I think
I'm
that's-
sorry, people talk over each other. Go ahead, Leanne.
I'll make a motion to gift Diane Durrett an Afghan and a gift card from the Wooden Tap.
Second.
Okay, we had several people seconding. I heard Anna second, so I think Pauline tried to second as well. Oh, Anna didn't? Okay, Pauline did. Pauline, shake your head. You seconded, right? Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, all those in favor of acknowledging Diane Durrett's long service with the library as she retires?
Aye.
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Karen, I believe
All
both,
those opposed? Any opposed? No, motion carries unanimously. Go ahead, Leanne.
I was just going to say, Karen, I believe that the gift cards are in the safe and the Afghans Lisa put away in the container someplace, but I don't know where they ended up at the library.
Yeah, I know where they are. So I can grab that if you like, and I know where the gift cards are. So I think she's going to be really pleased. Thank you all.
And I think there are 3 colors. I believe there's green, cranberry, and navy.
I'll ask Lisa what she thinks.
Okay.
Ask her after you check stock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions for Karen at this point? No. All right, then we will move on to the Friends of the Library with Sheila.
Okay, we're getting ready for our next book sale on Saturday. We're hoping to get rid of a lot of the books that we have so we can have some space to sort, and we can't fit much in downstairs. This is going to be fiction, which is going to include romance, mystery, regular fiction, a lot of children's books, and a lot of media. And it's going to be $10 a bag, and fill your bag with anything you'd like. So we're hoping to have a large group come in on that. We're still doing the filling the requests. And we did discuss, because that's fallen off a bit right now. And I don't know whether it's because people are getting out, the weather's getting a little better or what. But we decided we would try to continue doing it, because that's the way to get it to some of the shut-ins who can't get to the library. So we figured we would, because we do some deliveries of those, so we would continue doing that. I think that's all we're doing right at the moment.
So Sheila, is the $10 a bag filled, is that pre-filled bags by order, or is there an event that people can walk up to?
You pay $10 for the bag, and then you fill it with whatever you want.
And how are they getting access to the books?
They'll be outside and on the lawn, spacing them.
On the library lawn?
On the library lawn.
Okay. And the hours?
1:30 to 4:30 on Saturday.
Great. Super. I just wanted to get that on in case somebody was listening and wanted to know exactly where and when, how to do that. Thank you. Anything else, Sheila?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, questions for Sheila?
And
Neil, do you have your hand up? Go ahead.
yeah. Sheila, are the Friends meeting this Wednesday?
No, they're not. Kim is going to be in New York. So she sent out a notice that they're moving it till next Wednesday.
Oh, all right. Anna, do we know who's scheduled to go to the Friends meeting this month?
Yeah, I sent out that. So just for everybody to know, there was a couple months ago, we had a discussion and asked for more volunteers, and Laurel and Lisa Jones stepped up to the plate to add to the lineup of trustees, the rotation for attending the Friends meetings. And I think that Lisa Jones is scheduled for the next meeting.
Yep, it's me.
And Neil, I will resend the schedule to you.
No,
So
you don't have to, and I've got it. I should have just done a little research before I opened my mouth. Yeah, but
Okay,
Keith, I'm glad the meeting is next Wednesday. I did find that out, so that's good.
yeah, so we're all set, and between the four of us, if somebody can't show up, we will fill the spot.
Sounds good.
Super. Thank you. Okay, if there are no other questions, we'll move on to committee reports. Budget, Maureen?
Thank you, Dave. You gave my report. So I just have a question. You mentioned April 20th. That's going to be a public hearing? Dave? Chris?
No.
No?
Public hearings are done, but
Okay,
you
so,
can participate.
oh,
There's
okay.
public participation at those meetings.
So April 20th should be the date that you all would pass the budget then,
That's the
right?
final set of the budget.
Okay. So that's the report, and I thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you both. That's nice. Any questions regarding budget?
No.
I don't see any. Then I will move on to PEP, Planning, Evaluation, and Policy. Laurel?
Hi there. Lisa has been very busy with the library director evaluation, and that is on the way to the town manager, I believe, at this point.
Actually, I am going to present it to Lisa Maston and then give her her copy and then give the copy on to the town manager. And Lisa's out this week, so I'm planning to meet with her next week.
Thank you. That's it.
Any other information for PEP? No?
Not
Good.
at this point.
Any questions for Laurel?
Thank
Go
you
ahead,
to
Leanne.
everybody who participated in the evaluation. I just wondered, is this where we go over the newly created mission statement? I believe that's
That's in
communications.
communication.
Oh, okay. I thought that was under policy, whatever, et cetera.
No. We created its own committee and it has its own chair, Lisa Jones.
All right,
So,
great.
We will get to that. Thank you.
Laurel,
Any other questions?
Yes. What was the participation by the board? Was it 100%?
I turn that over to Lisa.
Yep, it was. We did get everyone's feedback from the board, and not only was everyone provide feedback, but as far as Lisa's evaluation, but also feedback on the form itself. So that was helpful. I think that probably next time around we should, have a discussion about what went well and what didn't, and what was troublesome for you and what wasn't, so that we can make sure that we're improving the process as we go through. But I think it worked out fine.
Yep. Thank you.
Lisa Jones did a beautiful job on developing that.
Yes, she did an excellent job of pulling that together and really taking what we had in place and making it much more relevant. And I think all of you know how you responded, and I would say that it was pretty unanimous across the board. Lisa continues to do a good job and is recognized by the board for that. So we'll just move forward from that end. Let's see. So after PEP, we talk about the library director's evaluation. Do we have anything from ACLB tonight, Laurel? No?
No, we went through the whole manual.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions or problems with the manual as it goes through from that end?
No, very thorough. Includes everything.
Very good.
Touches on everything.
Great.
It's like a Bible.
So after PEP, that's all right. After PEP comes investment committee with Neil Ryan. So take it away, Neil.
All right. I mailed out our March monthly report yesterday. I'm sure you've all received it. Anyway, effective March 31st, 2021, our portfolio has a balance in it of $754,597.53. So for the month, we were up about a little over $9,000. So a good month. And added three columns to the spreadsheet, just for informational purposes. The percentage of restricted funds as of March 31st is 64.68%. And dollar amount, what we've made so far this calendar year to March 31st is $12,183.03. That's a percentage return on the year of 1.64%. So it's been a solid, steady first 3 months, first quarter of the year. So let's see. Well, it was a good solid month, and things are looking good. Very good.
Great. Thank you, Neil. Any questions from anyone based on the report? Comments? No? Thank you. We'll move on to House Committee with Laurel.
Yes, Jennifer recently did an update on the walkthrough, the status of those walkthrough items. I asked her to mail it out to the board. I believe you've all received it. So
Yep.
Progress is being made every month. Thank you, Jennifer, for updating the report.
And it looks like a couple of things were tagged for warm weather. So hopefully we will get and keep
Yes.
some warm weather and those items can start to be tackled.
And someday we'll get to see the interior too.
That will be nice.
It was nice that we were able to get the walkthrough in. The timing was
Yes.
perfect for the interior
Just
walkthrough
in
for the
time.
week and a half that we were open. As that goes through, that's great. Thank you. And then facility and site, Maureen Lyons. You're on mute, Maureen. Maureen, you're on mute.
Mute. Unmute. Unmute yourself.
Maureen, you're on mute.
She's talking. She's talking. Maureen, come into us.
I'm here. I
Oh,
was
good.
trying to
Okay.
multitask unsuccessfully. Nothing, I have no report. However, Anna's report on fund development will touch on facility and site. And that's what I was trying to find, a document that I did not send to him.
Okay. And James or Karen, did those final copies of the paperwork get sent over to the library? Do we know if those are on file now?
Yes, I believe they are.
Great. Thank you. So any questions? So facility and site, no real report. Good. We're going to move forward to fund development with Anna Eddy.
So I guess Maureen didn't read my email that said I wasn't quite prepared to talk about it at this meeting.
Oh, because I can't multitask. That's why.
So, so we will touch base on that later. I continue to work with Lisa on trying to make our library web pages more relevant in terms of easy access for library patrons to make a donation. And she's using a tool that is multifaceted. I mean, the town uses the same tool, so there's only so much flexibility that we have. But she's added a button on the home page, and that will link people to go to that Network for Good website to make a donation directly to us. And that button is now being added, and she has to do it manually for each page that touches on legacy information. But she's getting there, and I will send out a link to everybody. You should take a look at the Ways to Give page, because she's done a nice job of enhancing the graphics on that page and make it more visually interesting, so it's not just all straight text. So we're, so that's in the works. I mean, I'm sure she does that when, she can't sleep at 2 a.m. in the morning or something.
sorry. Let's just try to always say a last name when we say Lisa, because we have Lisa
sorry.
Maston working on the webpage, but we also have Lisa Jones doing a lot of work in communication, so it will get confusing
Sorry.
where to go for what.
Lisa Maston is, it's her responsibility to update those pages, and with everything that, all the multitasking she is doing, I'm sure she does it when she can't sleep or something. So that's it for fund development. I'm anxious to, hear more as Leanne and Lisa Maston hear from the lawyers regarding the upcoming bequests that we're potentially receiving.
As I said, you know what I know, so, and Lisa just had the original outreach, so we'll go from there.
Right, so the lawyer's office reached out, and I'm sure when things settle and they know what's what, we'll get more detail. So thank you both.
This is Lisa
Any
Jones.
questions?
Can I just
Yes.
ask Anna, the Network for Good, probably from their sales department, has been calling me because I've been attending their seminars. This is probably something we can take offline, but
Yes.
they, have you been involved at all with any of their software or their portal applications that they are?
Yeah,
exhibiting?
that's not in our game plan. I mean, that's for a different kind of organization.
Yep.
So that's not something that we would pursue.
Okay.
And that's part of their, their hook.
Mm-hmm.
They get nonprofits involved, and then they know they have a nonprofit that might be of interest or a potential client, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going down that path.
Okay, I just, I had a conversation with this gentleman, and I just wanted to make sure that I was, heading in the right direction, because I was going to call you and see if that was something that you had already done. So, okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
And
Thank you.
And just so you know, I had a conversation, but it was with a woman, so they're,
Okay,
they must not be working off the same database.
got it. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Super.
So that's
Any other questions or comments? No?
Yeah. So
Great. Then
that concludes my report.
thank you, Anna. And I don't see any other questions or comments. Nominations, Maureen?
No report.
Okay. And next up is communications with Lisa Jones.
Okay, so I have actually the 4 things that I've been working on. Some a little more developed than others. The key message that we distributed was distributed a couple of meetings ago about the pre and post COVID. I had a chance to sync up with Lisa Maston again, and so we helped true up some of the numbers that were included on that document. And I'm happy to send that out again if anyone would like it. We also talked to make it more relevant to what's going on, and really how to enhance that to include things like what are some of the things that the staff is doing that's over and above. For instance, one of the things that she said is we as a reference never closed. Our reference desk never closed, whereas some libraries closed down totally. She said we've been available, which made me start to think, and this, so I'll finish up about that key message. There's going to be a few methods of distribution of that information. Some of them we've talked about. We're going to go, once this is completed again, once it's finalized again, going out to the publications, New Britain Herald, that whole line of thinking. And Anna, you made me think about perhaps there's information that we can put on the website. I don't know enough about the website to know that is a relevant place, but I can find that out, but just an interesting thought. And then we also talked about there's 3 groupings of people that are not just 3, but these are 3 that the patrons. There are people that are probably, we can use the term underserved. We don't have access to them right now, or they're not library users, or they don't have access to the library for some reason at this point. and then parents. So developing a did you know bookmark. So the library staff is very familiar with developing bookmarks, thank goodness. And they have been, so Lisa gave me some good ideas about how to develop. So I have developed the first bookmark and related to the people that, and I'll use the term again, underserved. So we'll actually target the distribution of those through, say, the senior center or social services and things of that nature to try to get it out to the public. And it's got relevant information about the library hours and all that sort of stuff, but also the did you know, there's online information for you. There are the books, Friends of the Library book sale. And again, we haven't finalized the content, but these are some of the ideas that have been revolving around. So once the communications committee meets again, then we'll finalize some of that content and then move on to what maybe we can provide to the parents and also then to patrons. Patrons, we can use the curbside service to actually provide that information, as Lisa and I talked, Lisa Maston and Lisa Jones talked about. So yeah, so that's one thing. Our next key message we decided was going to be on space. So the space in the library, what do we do with the current space that we have? How are we going to enhance it? How's it being enhanced? How does the staff, things of that nature? And actually, Laurel sent out an article that I sent on to at least the communications committee, very relevant to what a library is in this space and time, and tried to use some of the information from that article to actually think about how do we better use the space that we have. So one of the things that we talked about was, for instance, the article recommended a concierge type service. So an upfront desk that allows, similar to a hotel that might have someone waiting for you to answer questions right up front. You don't have to go in, step in the door, so to speak. How do we use space outside, things like that. So just more thoughts, and that is where I was lacking. I have not gotten to that, the completion of that yet. So that's but our next. So I guess why I mentioned that too is that if anyone has any thoughts, information that they want to share or help pull this together, I am all for that. So I don't want to be a team of one. And so anyone that wants to help out, just raise your hand, or you can even silently raise your hand to me with an email, and I'm happy to keep it quiet. The other is the reports. So I sent out, so this all kind of ties together. I was talking to Lisa about fact-based information about the reports. So I sent to you earlier today 3 charts, and included in it was a spreadsheet that really took information from the month-to-month director's report. And then I just pulled those charts together to help summarize some of the information that was included. And if you looked at it, what it shows is the increase in service in many of the instances, the increase in service over the time, regardless of pre or post pandemic, it just looks different. The different types of services that are provided. The library still provides a phenomenal amount of services to the community, and that's the message that we're hoping to get with some of this kind of fact-based information. So I might have not hit the nail on the head. It was to whet your appetite and see if there was any feedback on it, if it was relevant to you. I'm kind of a data geek as it comes to that, so that's informational and meaningful to me, but I wanted to just open that up, see if anyone had a chance to look at it and if there were any comments.
Oh,
Go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, I got the spreadsheets. I thought they were very, very informative. There's a lot of data included there. That's really nice. Kind of puts it all down black and white, and it you can almost make a graph chart out of it as far as by month. It was nice, very nice document. Very nice.
Okay.
Okay, Leanne, you're off mute. I also saw Anna's hand up, but I'll go to Leanne first.
I was just going to basically say what Neil just said. I was very impressed, and being a numbers geek, I was very intrigued with everything that you had as well. To be honest with you, this is the kind of thing that I know it might be a little bit getting into the weeds, but I think this is information that should be put out to the public so that they see what we're doing. And I guess I'm looking at it from a perspective of publicity, but we're still dealing with a lot of outside discussion about whether we're open, we're not open, et cetera, and whatever. And if we can show that we may not have the doors open, but look at all we're doing, I'm all for it.
Okay, great. That's good feedback. Thank you. Anna, did you have something else?
Just to add on to what Neil and Leanne have already mentioned, I like the spin on the data. I mean, it's information we've seen before, but I like the comparison and the benchmarks that you showed, and I mean, data is data, but it's how it's presented, and
Right.
I think it's makes a bigger impact in the way you not saying this detrimentally manipulated the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's got to tell a
We'll
story.
use the term
You can't,
showcased.
I'm sorry.
I said we showcased the numbers differently.
Yeah. It can't be just data. It's got to be a story. There's got to be the story that the picture that the data tells. So, I was playing around with it, and so I can continue to play around with it. I have those, they can populate every month so we can see if there's continued trends and go from there. But I just wanted to make sure it was relevant information before I continued to support it.
Lisa, this is Maureen. Could you resend it to me, please?
You absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Then lastly, the mission statement, and sort of the mission statement kind of ties up all the things that we wanted to, that we've been talking about. So Anna, thank you for your email. I appreciated that. And so I sent out right before the meeting, the current mission statement, and then the proposed mission statement. And I have to thank Pauline. She was the one that pulled that together for us. So, that can open it up for discussion for the mission statement.
Oh, fine. No.
If you get a chance to look at it, it really talked about it adds more, I was gonna say more verbs to the statement. I actually don't have it in front of me, so let me see here.
Lisa?
Yes.
I wonder, in addition to this, the statement that you put out, could we also have a shorter slogan that is catchier and easier for people to remember? The one I'm always so impressed with is the New Britain Museum of Art. Their slogan is "Where Art Meets Life," which I love because it shows how vital and vibrant the art museum is. If there could be, more of an elevator speech kind of slogan for quickly getting the idea of the library across, as well as your very thorough one.
Yeah, I like that idea. We could use it as a tagline.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe where learning never stops, or where learning is fun, or something along those lines.
Something short, yes, and pithy. Mm-hmm. That you could have on bookmarks and library cards and yeah.
Love that. If you think, guys, again, if you think of anything, just send me a quick email and let me know. It's I really am open to any feedback, please.
Okay, guys, get your pithy comments ready.
So Diane, do you want to have a substantial discussion on this, or do you want to put it on the agenda for next time?
Well, I think maybe what we need to do is send some of our suggestions and stuff to Lisa, And maybe we would incorporate or enlarge the communications team meeting to discuss these things and then come up with a couple of things. I think to do the raw meeting now is probably not the best use of everybody's time. But
Sounds
certainly jot down whatever ideas are floating through your head now and get them to Lisa Jones.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Anyone else with questions?
Mhm.
Thank you, Lisa. Doing great work, and I know the communications team has been meeting on a regular basis trying to help pull all this stuff together. So everyone's efforts are greatly appreciated. And next up, whoops. James, can you move the agenda? I think we can run along. Thank you. So now we're into old business, and we are talking about the library 5K road race, and we did move that to an October date. It's Sunday, October 3rd, and we have our fingers crossed that that will be a race very similar to the ones we've run in the past, and that once everybody gets their shots, that COVID is not going to interfere anymore. We did have a meeting earlier in the week with just a few of the race committee group, including Kevin Mason, and I'm going to ask Anna, because she was a part of that meeting, to update us on what was discussed there in terms of the website and the timing for some of the things that are going on.
Right, so we talked about the race and opening up online registration now instead of waiting anymore. I mean, the race is 6 months away. You know, I personally had a concern that, you know, runners should be aware of it so that they can plan their 5K in October, and we should be at the top of the list. So both websites have been updated, the library's webpage for the race and the online registration information page has been updated, and Kevin has the text to go out to the previous runners, who's going to send it out to the last 3 years, and we'll see how it goes. We plan to send out monthly reminders to them. We don't want to bug them too much, and each month we'll focus on a different highlight for why they should register for our race in advance. And talking about, you know, how we're going to, we talked a little bit about how we were going to operate, you know, race day registration, or if we even can do it, and some of the other things. So what I'd like to suggest is that we put a bookmark on the agenda going forward, so that we talk about two things as we get closer to the race. One would be, do we want to consider having what runners call a packet pickup? You know, either Friday night, I would opt for Friday night before the race, so that they could come in advance and pick up their bib and their t-shirt, and that would reduce the number of people who come race morning to the registration desk or to pick up their bib. It would thin out the numbers. And this is something that runners are used to, so it would not be something new for them, but it would be new for us. And my idea was that the library steps would be the perfect place to hold it. We could, you know, control the flow, and, you know, I think would be perfect. The other idea is, in the past, some people have complained that the award ceremony is too long. And one of the things that we could do to shorten that is to take the prize drawing and take it out of being in person and hold it the next day and do it virtual, kind of like what we did for the Ready, Set, Go giveaway. And, you know, anybody who entered the race, whether they showed up or not, would be in the drawing, and we just draw, you know, we have a prize, we draw a name, have a prize, draw a name. And except for, you know, the big things that are, you know, physically big, you know, everything would be mailed, and the larger items like gift baskets would have to be picked up. And so that's not something we need to decide today, but it's something we should talk about, you know, say in August, as we know how you know, if the pandemic is diminishing by then or not. because we would have to let the runners know.
Right.
And, and I should, one of the sponsors, not a big sponsor, but the Dutch Point Credit Union, that's been a silver sponsor, they said that they're cutting a check and coming back. And now I've got some time now to focus again on the sponsors, and we're 6 months away from the event. So I'll make a concerted effort to follow up with all of them.
Great. Thank you, Anna.
Any questions?
That was perfect.
Oh, thanks, Neil.
I wasn't at the meeting. I apologize, but your summary was perfect. I mean, again, you covered everything. Touched on everything.
Leanne, I see your hand up. Go ahead, Leanne.
Just a question. I wondered, we usually have the CERT team help us with traffic control along with the ham radio. I wondered if you want to get on their agenda about in terms of that date, or do you, it's too early. The only reason I ask is that they have a significant amount of things going on right now because they're working the vaccine clinics, and of course, who knows, that could go on ad infinitum. So I'm just wondering if you want me to bring that to the coordinator to see if we, if with the October 3rd date.
I think that would be excellent if we could try to at least notify them that that's the date, and it's our wish that they can help us. We know that we're still kind of in an iffy situation, not knowing where we'll all be with the COVID, but if we can get on their schedule in any way, shape, or form, that would be great.
All right, I will do so.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions or thoughts?
Hi, it's Maureen. I really like the idea of picking up the bib and the t-shirt in advance of the day of the race. I mean, I only participated in one other race besides ours, and that was how it was handled, and it just seems so logical and successful.
So that means that we need a commitment from our board members to be staffing that bib and t-shirt, whatever package handout. So before we can say that we're going to do that, we need to know that we, the board members, are there in strength to handle that and set it up.
And just the the evening before would be sufficient, right, Anna?
Yes.
I think
I volunteer.
Yeah, I'll volunteer. I would look at that as kind of like what we normally do on race day morning.
Right.
We're doing it the night before.
Well, one of the reasons that idea came up is because we talked about the possibility of not being able to do race day registration. The timing service might not want to do it, and so this would give us an opportunity to collect those race day registrations, but they've got to do it, the Friday night before, and gives us time to get it entered into the system. And anybody who comes that morning, sorry, registration's closed.
Right, and that would depend on what the current COVID rules are that time. Leanne, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I just to add to that, if we're going to move the award aspect of it, the prize drawings and things like that to the Ready, Set, Go. First, I just want to make sure that we don't make it so labor intensive for our library staff, because the Ready, Set, Go did fall a great deal on them. And I want to make sure that we're not overwhelming them. So there's hopefully at that point, we can get some of the board members into the library to help them do that. And second of all, I actually kind of like that idea for the very reason, and maybe it's because I think I'm going deaf, but I don't hear well in that Mortensen gymnasium. You can announce all you want and I hear nothing. I just hear the feedback on the microphone. So it might be a little bit more of a clearer announcing process in terms of awards and times and things like that.
Right. And we've discussed several options that we would like to keep an open mind to. And part of that is, you know, if all things being equal, we could run the race that we always have. Do we take this opportunity if we're faced with challenges to maybe do the grab the packets and register ahead of time, especially if there's no same day race? If we're able to give any awards out, do we just give out, you know, the first, second, third place awards, and then all the gift awards are done on the Ready, Set, Go type format? You know, what happens from that end? We might have to also be, you know, announcing and mailing out the other awards. We don't know. You know, we're hoping that this virus is under control and that we can have people gathering again and have some fun there. And then it might even be, depending on weather or what's going on, we might hold it in the parking lot, just so people are outside instead of inside. Again, that's weather dependent. It's depending on COVID. Maybe the outside will help the auditory announcements. Maybe it won't. But, you know, those are the things that we are thinking of and wrestling with. So as time goes by, as you see other races being held or things happening, anything that catches your fancy, please bring it to the group and let us know what's going on. Yes, Leanne?
One other question, and I apologize, I wasn't able to make the meeting the other night. It is about facility. Typically at this point, we're booking the Mortenson Community Center and sending a check over to the town. Have we discussed with them at all this date, or we don't have anything set?
I'm not sure if we've discussed this actual date with them. Karen, did you know?
I do not think that we have, Leanne or Diane. So that's a good point.
Right. So we'll have to see if that's open and see what's happening there. But those are some of the things to think about with what's going on. Is the community center even open at this point?
No.
To public events, does anybody know? Dave's shaking his head no, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons that we haven't actually reached out, but you're right, we should tentatively reach out and see if we can't snag that date.
Another thought occurs to me, and again, this is just spitballing, and if we are at the point where we are still outside, the Masons Hall, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Waterfall Festival. They have a big yellow and white striped tent that we use for the Children's Center at the Waterfall Festival. Maybe that might be something we could do in our own parking lot. They've been very helpful, though, at Waterfall Festival, letting us use that. They have to come set it up and whatever, but that might be an option.
And that was the Masons?
Yeah, over on the behind CVS there.
Right, and they have also been very generous contributors in the past. So I'm sure if we reached out to them, if it wasn't already booked, they might see their way to helping us use that.
Diane, Councilor Minor has his hand raised.
Okay, great. Oh, sorry. Without a face, it's hard for me to track that. Go ahead, Chris.
Thanks, Diane. Just to give you a heads up, I don't know if Dave can confirm the date, but I know there was some discussion recently in the last few weeks of a mayor's ball. I believe sometime in October. I don't know the date. The beginning seems like it is sticking to my mind for some reason.
A marriage
which would
ball?
utilize, mayor's ball that would utilize the Mortenson Community Center.
Mayor's.
Yeah, just to avoid a conflict.
Chris, I don't know the answer to that. I can ask. I know someone who's on the committee who's in this house. Let me ask. I have an answer. I'll let everyone know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There is no date at the moment that's set for the mayor's ball.
Ask them to avoid
Tomorrow,
the third.
excuse me for interrupting, but tomorrow night at the town council meeting, Eileen Francolino, who's the head of the 180th anniversary committee, is going to do an update presentation. She may come with more information or not. 150th, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said 180th.
None of us want to age 30 more years.
There you go. All right, but we age gracefully.
Always the charmer. Okay, thank you. All right. Any other discussion on the 5K race? All right, stay tuned and probably, I forgot, Anna, was it the June timeframe we were going to start some regular meetings for the 5K races?
I'm not sure. I have to look at my notes. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I know that we'll probably be having some meetings through the summer, and it would be the June, July, and particularly to the race itself and setting that up as we see what's happening with the pandemic. So just be aware that there may be a couple of summertime meetings that we don't normally have because the race is usually in our rearview mirror at that point. Okay, so open board positions. We do have some board positions that are open. Both the Democratic and Town Committee have positions open, and we have a corporate position open. And I'm delighted to see Pauline here.
I'm still working on the open board position. I've got a couple of feelers out for a couple of people. Again, no guys. I've got a couple of ladies that I'm talking to. Regarding my position, what I did was more a I put my Pam resigned, so her the length of her term would be longer than what I currently have. So what I did was I just placed myself into her position and resigned and opened up my position that would terminate at the end of November of this year for another 3 years. So I figured the person that would come in wouldn't be either going off board too soon. And so I just transferred myself over to Pam's position. It takes a little bit of work because the town council had to be involved. And they had to remove me from my old position and put me in the new position. But other than that, that was just paperwork.
Great.
Council
Well, we're
has
very
done
happy to
that,
have
by
you
the way.
continue on with us.
The council has done that, by the way, so
Yes.
Pauline's all set.
Yeah.
Super. Thank you.
So
And
this
Thank
is
you for figuring
Maureen.
that out for us.
For clarification, how many open positions are there? According to the latest list of trustees, there are 4. But there is that correct?
That sounds correct to me.
So we have 2
One
Democrats. So
corporate.
I think we have 1 Dem, 2 Republican, and 1 corporate, I believe.
That's my
Oh,
understanding.
okay. So it is 4.
Okay. Well, we know what we have in front of us.
Diane,
Right? Yes.
just to
Yes, sir.
verify, Counselor Minor still has his hand raised. I'm not sure if it was from before or not.
No, I'll drop it, James. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks. Good thing James is looking out for you. Oh, now I see Leanne's hand up. Go ahead, Leanne.
I just wanted to mention to you, Pauline, one of those feelers you have out, I've been having some conversations with the lady.
Good.
And she is definitely interested.
Good.
Pushing every
'Cause
time I see her.
Yeah, I encouraged her to talk with you because I said if there was anyone that I wanted her to get a feeler of what was the work involved, that she should talk with you.
Well, I'm hopeful. She sounded encouraging when I spoke to her Friday, I think it was.
Yeah. So she's I think she'd be a good addition.
Yep.
Great. Great. Anybody else has names of people or folks that they think would be interested in an asset to the board? We're happy to entertain thoughts and get to speak to a few of them, reach out to them, let them know what's going on. Okay. Next up is Town of Newington 150th anniversary. I know Karen mentioned the storyboard walk that they're doing earlier with the 150th committee when that sets up. Are there any other updates or items to be discussed?
I don't think so, other than we're probably putting the signage up this weekend, I think on Saturday. We're working closely with the committee. I think I had mentioned earlier that we were going to have 2 or 3 from the Friends group who are going to be on the library steps, kind of providing some historical facts and snacks. We're probably either Lisa and or myself will be there for a time. I think we're going to have restroom facilities open for people so that there's some place for them to stop along their walk as they, visit some of the other sites. We've got flyers that we're handing out. We have a history walk map that's on our webpage. I think that's listed under the adult events. I think that's all that I can think of in relation to it.
Great. Anyone else? No, I don't see any other. Any other questions or comments for this evening? It's always a scary thing to ask. Go ahead, Leanne.
I just want to, Karen, are you in the office tomorrow?
I am.
Okay, I stopped in last week and I seemed to hit when nobody was around who could help me. So I know there are a couple of things in the office for me to pick up. If you could put it together for me, please.
Definitely, yeah.
Thank you.
Super. All right, any other questions or comments? I don't see any, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
I have one comment
sorry.
before the motion.
Mhm.
Congratulations, Diane. It's 8:09.
Oh, thank you. I still haven't made the 1 hour mark, but I'm getting closer.
That's pretty darn close.
It's very good.
It is. It is.
So in
All right,
light of that, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Hold.
Of course, James is still on new
Oh,
business,
wait a
and I don't have any new business
We got no new
unless
business.
anyone else does.
And there's
Okay,
nobody
and
on for
public participation?
Nobody on.
Quick, before it gets to be 8:13. What was that motion?
This is Maureen. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Is this
you.
Anna? I'll second it.
Thank you, Anna. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and maybe someday we can meet in person again.
Someday.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, James. As
Yeah,
always,
everybody.
we appreciate your assistance.
My
Good
pleasure.
night,
everybody.
Chris. Thank you for joining.
Have a
I'll
good
see you on
evening.
the road.
Good night.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.